This is David Banjo coming at you with another video today talking about E3. Remember E3, the Electronic Entertainment Expo? It was an event that happened from 1995 all the way to 2019. It was briefly brought back in 2021 as an online only event before being canceled for good. What happened? Well, we're gonna talk about that in today's video. I also want to highlight the best moments, the worst moments, and also the cringiest moments in between. That's also going to be in today's video. E3. Remember E3? It seemed like yesterday Banjo was revealed in Smash. The next Animal Crossing was going to be coming out next year, and the sequel to The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild was announced to be in development. And many other exciting announcements, not just from Nintendo, but Sony and Microsoft. E3 was a moment and a time and a place where gamers could be at the event no matter what gaming platform they support, no matter what gaming platform they play on, and they could share one common hobby, which is gaming. They could celebrate and bring their heads off at the latest project that one of the big three, Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo, have decided to make. It was certainly 1 week of June full of excitement, full of anticipation, and definitely full of nerves. So how did this moment came to be? How did E3 come to be? Well, let's go back to 1995 where it first started. E3 was started by the ESA, the Electronic Software Association, and its main goal was to showcase video games as the main attraction, the centerpiece of it all. Before E3, there was the Consumer Electronics Show, which sure, you could have the video game representative come and show their latest hardware and software. However, it was something more of an anomaly from the other perspective, something considered of an afterthought. Video games aren't popular anymore. It's something that's going to be a fad, says one person. They're being pushed aside by television and computer graphics. That seems to be the norm those days. Now, flash forward to 1995, May 1995, to when the first E3 started. Sony, having been 5-6 months since launching the PlayStation, the original PlayStation, in US and Japan markets, decided to go to Los Angeles to showcase the PlayStation 1 and to convince non-buyers and non-gamers to buy the PlayStation 1. People were still skeptical despite it selling a lot of units, saying that this is Sony's first foray in the video game field. This isn't a veteran like Nintendo. Still, they were very optimistic when they saw a playable demo of a brand new IP called Crash Bandicoot that was slated to be released in 1996. This caught many eyes and many attention, and this demo got so famous, the demo kiosk, that even Shigeru Miyamoto himself was playing that demo that you can see in one picture that surfaced on the internet recently. Now let's go to 1996 when Nintendo decided to be at E3 showcasing the N64, their next console. Their launch title, Super Mario 64, that was going to be slated to be released in the States in September of that year, with their weird N64 controller that is still a pop culture of 90s history. In 1997, Nintendo showcased many demos, but there are two demos that I wanted to showcase specifically for that time. One is Zelda 64, that turned out to be one of the greatest games ever made, Zelda Ocarina of Time, an early build of Zelda 64. I believe it's the one where Link is fighting one of the enemies in Tower. The other demo is Banjo-Kazooie, a brand new IP from British developer Rare, creators of the Donkey Kong Country trilogy. That game, Banjo-Kazooie, was originally supposed to come out in 1997, but it got delayed to 1998 to allow for more dev time, and so Diddy Kong Racing took its place. In 1999, Nintendo redid its booth to decorated Donkey Kong style. Why? To promote Donkey Kong 64, their holiday title for 1999. And Mario and Zelda transitioned to 3D smoothly. Why not the ape himself? I want to point out that I like the booth of the Donkey Kong style booth because it shows Donkey Kong, Diddy Kong, and I believe Lanky Kong and the other members of the DK crew are there hanging out, and they're just watching the staff members play DK64. And speaking of staff, it was staff only at the time. Members of the public were not allowed to attend E3, I believe, until late 2000s, early 2010s. But that back then, the only information you could get from E3 are from the magazine articles that you read. Now let's go to 2001 when Nintendo showcased the GameCube for the first time. Remember the purple lunchbox that initially turned out to be a failure, but ended up being a cult classic? The December game that was going to be released that year was Super Smash Bros. Melee. Remember that opening movie? And everybody screaming their heads off at seeing Sheik and Ice Climbers? Unless you knew who the latter was by playing Ice Climber on the NES, you probably had no idea who the Ice Climbers were. It was so exciting seeing Ice Climbers being playable in that Smash game. And so E3 got bigger and bigger and bigger by the different video game companies. Soon, Sega, once a prominent name in the video game hardware industry, dropped out, and Xbox/Microsoft took its place by entering the video game market and with its Xbox hardware and launching with Halo in 2001 to rival Sony and Nintendo. And in 2007, I believe it was in 2007, you can watch the E3 presentation via online. And around 2012, you can watch the E3 press conferences live and uninterrupted by via of Spike TV and G4 TV. No longer had you had to get a special pass to attend E3, specifically for the press conferences. You can actually watch the press conferences from the comfort of your own home. Now let's talk about the 2010 specifically, and I wanted to point out that that decade was when E3 started to die off, in my opinion. But there's one that killed it for good that I will point out later. One was leaks. So people would be in the know and they would leak trade secrets, or they would show unannounced games from the big three weeks before their E3 presentation. And obviously this would kill and deflate the surprise of many, specifically who wanted it to keep a secret, because the internet was very prevalent at the time. And the second thing was live streaming formats. Ever since in 2011, when YouTube started to input live stream video or live stream to subscribers slash fans to interact in real time, that started to take a hit on E3 personally. And specifically, Nintendo took advantage of that to ditch the live stage format in 2013 in favor of doing their Nintendo Direct. Something that was considered to be laughed upon, and even something that was a stupid move by other people, even saying that Nintendo was going third party, when in fact it was the complete opposite. They were doing a brilliant move. Soon, Sony and Microsoft followed, and then the big three no longer had a presence at that E3 showing, specifically after 2019. After 2019, people ask what happens after that. What's next for the future of E3? Well, the coronavirus pandemic happened, and obviously E3 2020 was canceled, and E3 was in limbo. Of course, E3 was brought back in 2021. However, it felt like it was a shell of itself, and it wasn't the E3 of old that it was. 2022 came and went. 2023 happened, and by the end of 2023, we finally knew its fate. That in the December, the official E3 Twitter account stated that after 18 years, E3 was ending for good. No longer was it being resurrected to another format. It was done. It's unfortunate because E3 was certainly a moment where people couldn't wait until June, and gamers expected specifically the big three to have a megaton of announcements in June. Otherwise, it'd be a subpar showing. However, with the rise in those two factors, three if you count COVID, that accelerated E3's death, the live stream format, specifically what Nintendo did in 2011, definitely was ahead of its time, and it's something that we wait every year. However, you'll never forget E3, and You'll never forget these moments. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed that video. What was your favorite moment of E3? If you ever went to E3, what was the year you went to? Did you go to a press conference? Did you go to see a display? Did you play a demo of a game that you couldn't wait? And your favorite E3 memory. It can also be an E3 memory that you, it still is cringe, but it's funny looking back on. Maybe that's the Microsoft 2010 press conference about Microsoft Connect, or it can be the 1 million troops Konami press conference. It can even be the Ridge Racer. Remember Ridge Racer? Those types of things. Thank you for watching, and until next time, peace out.